Hello world. Um, um, might have been a slight echo of myself just now because I have Twitch open. No, stop it. No, there's more echoes of myself because I have Twitch open. Probably don't need that. Okay, so where we left off 2 weeks ago, um, everyone agreed to go talk to their specific Lord's Commander. And you all also agreed that Henry would go and talk to Captain Ryan of the City Watch, because Henry's been on this train longer than anyone else, and also he healed the guards, so he might have a bit of a rapport. Um, Ren has lots of conversations. He talks to Zerka about Miss Erin and her shapeshifting abilities. And Zerka tells y'all to keep up appearances that you're still working on hunting down the attackers from the execution. Um, Ren overheard a little argument between Praetor Paramount Tara and Great Servant Rawl. Or sorry, Ren is the one that heard this, right?
Yes.
Just reminding myself. Um, and couldn't hear much of it because they were like way down the hall, but did hear that Great Servant Rawl was arguing for students' rights to practice in the hallways. Um, and then in his conversation with Barnabas, um, you know, brought up the main bullet points, and Barnabas was looking well rested, which is new. Uh, um, and he told Ren that nobility is young in Storgard because the county didn't exist like 3 generations ago. Um, and so lots of the nobility are ambitious and break and make alliances quickly. He then got a little emotional and talked about how he had made promises to Count Store, but he wasn't sure if he could keep all of those promises because it seemed that some of them may contradict. Um, Henry talked to Lord Umber, who very heavily laid on that it's all about the gods, man, um, and encouraged Henry to check out bounty boards and spread the gods' will in the city. Call tried real hard to talk to Lord Commander Ryan, and he shut them down. um, uh, Mostly stating that it wasn't for Call to jump rank like this, and any concerns that they had should be taken to their direct commanding officer. Uh, and yeah, that was about it. It was a little more detailed than that last time, but we don't want to be here for 4 hours getting through 2 hours of content. Um, so yeah, um, I believe we left off with y'all rejoining each other in the courtyard. Get my notes out.
Okay. Um, yeah. This is Jenny not knowing what to say.
How's everyone coming back looking?
Ren looks optimistic. Like calm and optimistic.
Henry has this look on his face that y'all don't really see very often. It's like like peaceful. It's like, but also like not like it's like a odd kind of peaceful. But then as soon as he sees y'all, he's like he smiles and he looks like himself again. How does Call look?
Call looks like they want to be sparring someone right now. So I guess Call's. We're still getting back into the vibe of things, but so Call's going to just essentially take one look at them and say, "Sounds like you guys had looks like you guys had fairly good success. Did you have a good day?"
Had a good day. Shall we? Ren's just kind of used to us all going to his room to debrief, so he's like, okay, yeah, we're ready to go there, right?
Yeah, let's go.
Just for a little check-in, this would be still morning time, probably between 10 and 11 a.m.
Noted.
Okay.
All right. Because why the fuck not? Perception roll to see what we see on the way over.
Go for
Me
it.
too.
Everybody can throw one.
26.
15.
17.
All right. Just to reiterate what y'all have been seeing recently, the courtyard is pretty busy. There are wagons being set up with goods and provisions for the upcoming excursion. There's also some groups of mostly the Corps of Blades out in the courtyard, training and kind of patrolling in formations and such. But other than that, there's nothing really of note happening in the courtyard. And then once you get into the Mage's Tower and walk through the somewhat maze-like series of hallways to get from, the door that you enter through is at the base of the tower, but to actually get up into the tower where there are rooms, you have to like go down 8 different hallways and then up 2 sets of stairs. Because why would things be easy? But as you're going through those hallways, Bronwyn, you do know, not Bronwyn, Call notices. Bronwyn is somewhat more omnipotent than Call is, but Call does happen to notice that Great Servant Rawl is just kind of sitting in a bench in a hallway. Y'all walk past him on your way. But Henry and Ren don't really notice this, but Call, as you walk by, you notice that he is silent, which is the first time that has happened. He is just sitting quietly on a bench.
Okay. Good to know. I think Call's not going to do anything with that information at present. And they are instead, I assume, going to just wander straight off into Ren's room.
As soon as the door closes, Henry turns to Call and says, "What happened? Are you okay?"
Call just basically responds with, I didn't get far at all before I was soundly told off for jumping rank. And asking questions above my station. So, things aren't going that well. You would assume that Zerka would have suspected that he would have responded that way. I don't know why she did not give me any other tips or suggestions.
Maybe
Ren
she
looks
was
sympathetic and picks up a very sleepy peer from off the windowsill and hands her to Call.
Aw.
There we go.
Call
There's
will absolutely just start cradling the sleepy still weasel. Oh god. Just cradling the sleepy weasel. God, weasels are so cute.
Really are. Well, I'm not exactly sure how mine went. I always have to get into a everything is about the gods headspace when I'm in the core of light. It's not how I view Lyda usually, but I can speak how they speak, and I think I got across to Lord Umber that hedging that maybe the leadership of the city it needs some more light from the gods and maybe was not following them as closely as they could be. And for Lord Umber, who everything revolves around following the gods, I'm hoping that is a seed in his mind of maybe someone who has more light from the gods should have more say, i.e., him. But he could have taken something completely different from my meaning, so I'm not sure. Ren, how did it go with you?
It went well. No, not the conclusion that we're looking for, but I was glad to talk to Master Barnabas. I have a great deal of respect for him, and I don't want to frame this as me manipulating him. But I'm very grateful to have his perspective on current events, and I just want to continue to genuinely share thoughts with him about that. So, it went well.
Small
You-
Anya,
detail.
you okay?
Yeah, Bronwyn, what's going on?
I had to grab something, so I turned off my camera, and now I can't get it to work again.
Oh,
Oh,
it was
no.
working for me.
Yeah,
It
turn it back
wasn't
on.
working for me.
Oh
Oh.
no.
Yeah,
Oh,
Oh.
it's a
Oh,
still
you're
frame, I
frozen.
guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
great. Okay, I'll leave and come back again. I'm sorry, friends.
Okay.
Technical difficulties. Technical difficulties. Hey, it works. Say hi, everybody. Mom's here.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Continue.
I think Henry's gonna ask, like say, I'm glad that you had a good conversation with him. Do you think it's even possible for him to be persuaded to our cause?
I missed what happened. I'm sorry.
Oh, Henry says that he's glad that Ren and Barnabas had a good conversation, but asks, do you think that it's possible for Barnabas to be persuaded to our cause?
I think it's not just our cause.
Right.
In that I think I don't want to speak for him, but I'm under the impression that he's not satisfied with things as they are in the status quo, and I kind of want to nix Ren saying that. Yeah, I think it's worth continuing to talk to him, Ren does not want to incriminate Barnabas just in case somebody is listening, because Ren is still like there are ears everywhere kind of zone. So yeah, we're not going to incriminate Master Barnabas.
Probably for the best.
Yeah. All right. Well. Okay. So next steps. Since it didn't go well with Lord Commander Rhine, do you think it's worth trying to talk to him again, or would you want to try to talk to one of the others who we don't know as well?
I might have better luck on that front. We also need to keep up appearances for fulfilling our actual task. So, Henry, if you need to speak to the captain of the guard today, maybe either Ren or I or the both of us could continue to do our normal tasks, and if only one of us goes, the other could try and discuss things with other members.
Yeah, that's smart.
Ren, do you have a particular preference?
I don't like the idea of anyone going alone regarding the light hands, because things have picked up. We know that they're watching you. I'm sure that they recognize me and Henry, and our cover is essentially blown, but I just don't want any one of us to get caught alone if we keep investigating them.
I don't blame you for the caution, but there is part of me that wonders if their investigation of me is particularly dangerous. So I understand that is not a reason to drop caution.
What do you mean? Like, just clarifying?
It's not as if I haven't figured out that I am being followed, though I didn't know by whom. And it's at this point apparent to those following me that I spend my time in the keep. So it's also stands to reason that I would be noticed if I went missing, and and that they can't follow me into my residence. So the most that they can do is see what my actions are out on the daily, at which point I'm investigating them as much as they're investigating me.
That's true. Ren still looks very uneasy.
At which point Call's going to go, I did say I'm fine with going in a group.
Okay.
Mother Ren.
Ooh, bad joke.
It's a pun, I get it.
Bad joke.
Hi. Well, okay. I don't want to rush back and talk to Master Barnabas again about this so soon. That would not look very organic in terms of conversation. So I think I should either spend some time looking more into the other people on our list, or working on the light hands.
You have a preference between the two? I admit I am a little discouraged by my ill luck so far.
Well, you kind of got the harder job. Henry and I both knew our Lord's Commander a little bit more, and you haven't spoken with Lord Commander Ryan directly very often, so you were at kind of a disadvantage.
If ever. Nothing, continue.
Um, I honestly know nothing about the other people. If we wanted to talk to your captain again, Call, I think that could be a good option.
It might be worthwhile. I hate to feel like I'm admitting defeat so early on, but it might be worthwhile.
Did
She's
we? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Would should we talk to Lady Carta since she's on the council, or should we not talk to the scary? And he got trails off.
I wouldn't get so discouraged before we even try. But I know nothing about Lady Carta except just what she looks like from council meetings. I know nothing about her, so I think some time should be spent finding out who these people are.
Let's not forget that we had our own run-in with one of Lady Carta's men a long
That's
time
true.
ago. So, if we talk to Lady Carta at all, she will likely have some kind of knowledge that we come with some kind of agenda. Especially it being the three of us specifically.
That is a very good point.
So, Lady Carta presumably knows more than we think. And if she hasn't done anything about that information, presumably she has her own reasons why.
I wonder. You're right. I wonder how much she knows, and I wonder why she wanted to know about our trip in the woods with the knoll. Like, I wonder if I guess I can see. I don't think talking to her would be neutral. I think that she would either, like you said, have an opinion. She might think that we have an agenda, like you said, but it's also possible that she's interested in us and might, I don't know, it might be a good thing.
This is one of those moments where I wish I could like save game and then play out both options like
Yeah.
a video game. Save game, go to Carta. If you fuck up, back up and go the other way.
Sorry, D&D doesn't have save states.
I
Can-
dislike that.
Can we just have gift of gab, please?
One of you wants to learn the spell, go for it. I don't
It'd
think
be a
any of
very
you
useful
actually
spell
can.
here. It's a sorcerer spell, isn't it?
I think it might be subclass specific.
Mm. Okay. I'm looking it up.
I could be
I
wrong.
want it.
Certainly could be wrong.
Bard and wizard. So Ren could maybe have it since he has some wizard stuff.
I think
Anyway.
Anyway.
Anyway. Well, we can think about Carta, but for now, I'm gonna remember I have that lunch meeting, and then also I'm gonna talk to Captain Ryan. So if we do continue investigating the Light Hands, whether it's a show or not. What is the plan? Do y'all have any ideas? Since half a mug was really our only in.
I think if anything, our plan could be just keeping tabs on them. That would be enough to make it look like we're doing something, and I feel like I might be more comfortable just knowing what they're doing, even if we're not going to go after them.
Okay. So do y'all want to go together today to do that, and then maybe tomorrow you guys can go out looking for one of the other three?
I think that sounds like a good idea. It gives us time to also account for who we would approach and how to do so.
Mhm.
And perhaps give me the opportunity to catch Zerka after she's done with her work for the day and see if we can figure out a better way to approach people who don't take jumping rank lightly.
Okay.
All right. Well, I guess we will let you go to your lunch, Henry.
All right. Um, well, I'll see y'all later. Good luck.
Godspeed.
Be safe.
All right, so Ren and Call are going to go to the industrial district to keep an eye on the half a mug, or just stay in the general area?
I think stay in the general area. Call at this point is also kind of curious if they could, if they get tailed before they reach the industrial district, or if the tail will only happen on the way back. So Call also just kind of wants to see how the tailing is happening and where that starts.
Okay.
So probably just heading to the market district first.
Yeah, kind
Yeah.
of taking our time to the industrial district and seeing how things change between market and rent and industrial.
All right. Y'all can give me a perception check.
27.
18.
Okay. Um, with a 27, you do notice. This is before you even get to the market district. This is like still walking through Upper Storeguard. What did I specifically name? I gave it a name, and I've forgotten it. What did I call it? I'm not going to go digging for it. But you're still fairly close to the keep. Call does notice a tuft of red fur. Once again, not like hanging out watching you, but just carrying on.
Does Call spot the direction it's going?
So like y'all are heading south. It is like heading northwest.
I think Call is at this point tempted to follow.
Okay.
So Call is gonna kind of, I think, like tug Ren by the sleeve a little bit and just kind of wander off in the direction that the tuft of red was going.
Okay. Are you moving quickly or stealthily? With how?
Okay, I think kind of dependent on how fast the tuft seemed to be moving. But probably like if it wasn't like rushing off, I think Call would be following it like a moderate pace.
Okay. You just like saw it go around a corner. Like you didn't get a full view of what you assume is
Okay.
a small red
Well,
fox.
in that case, Call is going to kind of take like a brisk little, not particularly subtle jog, like they thought they saw something, but try and make it look like they were looking for a shop or just remembered that they wanted to go that direction.
Okay. Give me a stealth check with disadvantage.
Okay.
And if Ren is coming with you, he will have to do the same.
At disadvantage?
Yes. I mean, unless
Alright.
you're letting Call separate from you.
Hey, I got a really low roll.
Ren got a 21.
Oh.
He just rolled really good.
So Ren looks very nonchalant about it, but
Call is pulling up their specific number. Call got a 6.
ooh, what is? Oh, um. So Ren looks very, very casual. Call looks like they just saw something and are trying to chase it down.
Nice. Good job, Call.
That being said, okay. So give me another perception check, I guess. Is what we'll do.
Okay. That would be another 27.
19.
Okay. You round the corner that you saw it at, and there's nothing.
At all?
You do not see it.
Damn. Okay. Okay. I think Call will kind of accept that that's their lot for today. And head back the way they came.
Alrighty. Keeping your 227s for perception. You make your way to the market district. Within the market district, you don't spot any of the tails that you recognize.
Okay.
I guess we will continue with y'all until at least until we get to a point where y'all are going to be just doing what you're doing for a little bit. So,
Respect.
are y'all hanging out in the market district, or are you moving more towards the industrial district and the half a mug?
I think slowly moving.
Slowly moving. Okay.
Yeah, just kind of keeping an eye on crowds and that sort of a thing.
Okay. Man. Yeah. So as you're going, you're still not noticing any of your, normal tails. Ren, give me one more perception check. Because you do have one extra face to look for. 10?
10.
Okay. One more. Okay. Did I? Sorry. Didn't. Okay. So after a little while, Call does notice a familiar, small, slightly red-skinned, small-horned girl. However, she doesn't seem to be tailing y'all. you do kind of lock eyes with her very briefly, and she doesn't go running off in any direction. She stays where she is, but there's kind of like other kids around, in a little group that she's kind of playing with and kind of joking with. That's what we'll leave it at.
Okay. I think Call is not going to draw any kind of obvious attention to her. Is just going to kind of do you know how like the white people do the kind of like, oh no, I made eye contact with you, now I have to do a head nod. I think Call's gonna do that and then just move on.
Okay. She doesn't react in any way to you. Like, you lock eyes for a brief second, and she just does not react.
Cool. Okay. Call is going to keep moving, but is going to bear that in mind.
That being said, go ahead and the both of you give me one last perception check.
14.
Oh, that's a mod 20.
Mod 20.
Nice.
So Ren picks up on it first, but it doesn't take long for Call to notice as well. The dwarf woman that Ren knows, firsthand, is one of the faces of Miss Erin. Is, again, not really tailing y'all, like not moving with y'all in any way, but you see her. And with a mod 20, you realize that she has seen you as well.
Interesting.
Okay.
Is Ren gonna do anything about this?
Yes. He's going to just very, very casually, kind of leaning closer, like, yeah, these are two friends talking in the marketplace. And tell Call, like really briefly, so it looks like he's just making a comment of some kind. What direction is she in?
From where you are, she is like south of you, so she's kind of off to your right, because y'all are headed towards the industrial district. Kind of off to your right, just like in an exterior store type space.
Okay. He's just gonna tell Call very quickly, she's to the right, she saw us.
I think Call is not going to react and is going to I think Call's going to see how far they can take this, like what her commitment is to keeping them in line of or keeping them in like in check. So I think Call is going to start like wandering the areas around Half a Mug and never get too close to it and just kind of see what happens.
Okay. I feel like I have told y'all to make a last perception check like 8 times, but go ahead and just give me another perception check.
Can do. That would be a 25.
16.
Because y'all have described yourselves as moving slowly, that has kind of eased your DC here. Y'all notice faces that you recognize. Specifically, you notice the faces of Miss Erin. All of the ones that y'all know, other than the one that you've seen in the tavern specifically. And also not the one that you've seen at the execution. So which limits it to just the dwarf. Never mind. That's the only face that y'all know of those. So you see the dwarf. Aside from that, you do see also the male dwarf that was her like bodyguard type guy in Half a Mug.
Okay.
You see, let's see, Call would have seen these on the day of the attack at Petal's office. You see one of the two dwarfs that came to retrieve the object.
Mhm.
And again, like, these people, not all of them look directly at you, but it's like most of them kind of seem to have their heads on a swivel and are taking in who is around, but no one is specifically following y'all. Um, like, it doesn't seem like anyone is trying to keep pace with you, but you're seeing kind of all of the faces that y'all have associated with the light hands. Just to fully clarify, the half-elven artificer and the Air Genasi person that were in Half a Mug that y'all have seen every time you've gone there. You don't see them, not out and about, nor do you see the half orc or the gnome who work at the Half a Mug. uh, but
Okay.
and unless y'all have something y'all want to do, I think we can leave it there for now, at least.
For now.
So that being said, as lunchtime approaches, Henry, are you going to meet your new friend?
You said that when we were in Ren's room, it was like 10 or 11. And I told my new friend that I would meet him like right after lunch. Do you think with where the tavern is and where the city guard keep castle area,
Um,
eh, would Henry have enough time to go talk to Captain Ryan before meeting up with Kurt?
Let me double check something. Um, so yeah, he did say lunchtime, and uh, so okay, the tavern from the courtyard is about a 20-minute walk. Um, but uh, the the guard hall is kind of halfway between the two. So
Hmm.
yeah, you could certainly. I mean, unless you get into a very involved discussion and do some favors for him, like, you could certainly stop there and talk to him for a little while.
Unless you get involved in a side quest.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
unless you like get involved in a side quest where you have to like go get something.
Yeah. Because if it's like 10:30 or 11, even if it's 11, a 10-minute walk, he's not going to talk to him for 50 minutes,
Hmm.
you know? So, okay. Um, Henry's going to go attempt to talk to Captain Ryan if he's not busy and if he's in his office. Perception check on the way.
Yes,
That is a 18.
an 18. Okay. Um, Not much to see. That's good enough that you're confident you don't think anyone is tailing you. Um, like you're confident that if anyone is tailing you, they are really good at staying secret about it. Um,
Henry would specifically be looking to see if he saw either of the hearts as well.
let's see. This time of day, no, you wouldn't. You would not see them.
Um, cool.
But yeah,
All
you
right.
don't really notice anything out of the ordinary.
Okay. Um, okay, so unless something specifically happens like at the guardhouse, he's gonna or sees anyone, he's gonna just go straight to Ryan's office.
Okay. They let you in. They recognize you. One of the guards at the gate is even one of the ones that you healed. So they full on are just like, "Oh hi, come on in."
That's cute.
um, when you have poison that feels like fire in your blood. People like it when you fix that. Uh,
I think Henry will spend like a minute or two just like, saying, "Oh, you look well, how have you been feeling?" and just making sure that he's okay and everything, but nothing too deep or too long.
yeah. He's just working. He's a guard
Hmm.
trying to keep the peace. He does he thanks you again. From the nature of your abilities, like there's not a chance that it came back. Like he is fully cured of this, and doing great.
All right, good. Um, well, Henry lets them get back to work, and he goes to see Captain Ryan.
All right.
Um, okay. He knocks at the door, I guess.
Enter.
Um, Shout out to Asher, myself not preparing anything to talk about. Rip. Um,
Same.
God. On the flip side, I got a lot done at work today. Usually on D&D days, I'm like, okay, get into Henry's mindset. Like, you're gonna be prepared. And I feel pretty much in Henry's head. But today I was so good at work. I got so much done, but I'm like not in Henry's headspace at all. Um,
You need to remember
okay.
what's important here.
I know. Um, God. Okay. Um, toot, 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 toot. um, Bronwyn, it makes me mad that you're so good at improv, though, for call. Like, you're just so good at improv for call. Um,
I'm nowhere near your husband.
that's true. Um, um, okay, can I get an insight check on Ryan, on Garth Ryan?
You're just trying to like figure out how he's feeling right now.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
You haven't said a word
Yeah.
to him yet.
Okay. So just kind of just like quick looking at his face. It's an 8.
He's lying to you. Um, uh, he, he's a busy guy. He looks busy.
Okay. Looks busy. Um,
Not, I
okay.
mean, like he doesn't. With an 8, you don't get the sense that he wants you to leave right now. But
Yeah.
I mean, he's got work to do.
Hmm. Okay. Henry gives the normal pleasantries that are appropriate for the situation, and he gives a very short, like going quick report of their progress. Something like, we have been pursuing the leads that you laid out for us. I think we are making progress, and I think we will have an update soon, but nothing to report specifically. So you'll hear more about that later, but what I wanted to talk to you about was like that kind of thing. Um,
Real quick, give me a persuasion check because that's what I said we would do if you don't articulate exactly what your character is saying.
oh, persuasion?
Yeah,
It's a 25.
very nice. Okay. As you are giving him updates, he kind of sits up a little bit because you're giving him pretty good news on a case that has been going on for weeks, uh, and he has been getting tired of.
Cool. Uh, cool. So Henry takes that as like a good, okay, this is a good intro, and feels pretty calm about, and not as nervous as he was when talking to Umber. Like he feels pretty good about it. And says something that I wanted to talk to you about, since you are someone who protects the people and your guards are out among this, in the city every day. And I think that I know that you want to protect the people. I have noticed that there's been a lot of murmurings and unrest since the execution, and there's been some fear and um, nervousness and unrest, I guess I should say. And it just seems that this execution kind of came out of nowhere, is what the vibe I've been getting of the people. And they've been, I just, as somebody who hasn't been in the city as long, I wanted to ask your read on the situation and if you think this is out of the ordinary or if it's anything to be worried about.
Um, he thinks for a second. You put him in a good mood and then ask his opinion on something. He looks as if he's wanting to give you his true opinion. So he sits and wait. He sits and thinks for a moment, and then uh, he says, uh, "Public executions don't normally turn into the bloodbath that this one did. Um, Lots of the townsfolk will always come to an execution. It's usually the most exciting part of their month. Um, and it's my opinion that people just like to see those that they think deserve it get what's coming to them. Um, but they also don't expect to be in danger when they attend themselves. Um, my men were there in force, and I am fairly confident that if you and your friends were not there, at the very least, I would have had to get more involved myself. As it was, you and your friends, and those of my guards that weren't incapacitated almost immediately, um, you handled it well, or you and your friends handled it well at least. And while I maintained the convicted. Um, he did not leave that pause there. My brain really wanted me to say accused, but it's not accused at that point. Um,
Yes.
um, I'll agree with you that uh, there has been unrest. There has been some things going on since. I don't know. Sorry. Did I answer your question?
Um, yes, I feel like, well, I feel like you confirmed that we're perceiving the situation in the same way. And I guess my next question about it is there anything that we can do to help?
Oh, um, there's always a lot to be done. Um, my guard are meant to maintain the peace and apprehend criminals wherever possible. That being said, without without good evidence or eyewitnesses, it's hard for me to commit resources into looking into certain rumblings uh, that aren't confirmed. The my best example of this is why we have bounty boards in the city. That way, any adventurer or group that wants to help can do so, and it also pays fairly well. Of course, any of my guards will try to sort out that type of thing anytime they can, but they have jobs to do. They have streets to watch, walls to man. There's only so much door-to-door banging they can do.
Trying to decide if I should ask something a little bit going in the direction of our quest, or if I should just leave it at that. Can I get an insight check?
Go ahead.
11. Yeah, same. I was like, guess I'm gonna go check the bounty boards later, 'cause everybody keeps telling me about them.
With an 11, I mean, you're not picking up that you don't pick up any dishonesty from him. But he's pretty hard to read. I mean, you're not able to understand his intent fully.
Mm-hmm. I thought of something else to ask him. Henry kind of nods, and when Ryan seems kind of done with what he's saying and not thinking, Henry says, okay, I mean, yeah, that makes sense. Are executions of this sort normal? Is it, or is it something that not normal, but do they happen often?
There haven't been many recently. They only when the crime calls for it. Any executions that we have are public. If they're not public, it is, which this is just what I know to be the case. It's not something that has happened here. Private executions are usually political figures that have someone close to them who, it's usually less of they did something wrong and more of someone else is taking advantage of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Well, I'll try to keep looking out for the people and doing my best to do good and help them, doing whatever I can to return to peace.
He kind of nods along with that, and he says, "We appreciate the help where we can get it."
Okay.
Give me a perception check real quick.
That's a 16.
Yeah. You see that what he was working on when you came in was in equipment. It's like it looks kind of like an order form for equipment, and 16 is high enough that you can see down towards the bottom in a different handwriting. It says denied, and then you can't quite make out the signature. It's upside down and fancy.
An equipment order form?
Like like equipment for the guard.
Oh, okay.
Not like one suit of armor, but like new equipment for the guardsmen themselves.
Oh gosh. Okay, how is Henry going to respond to that? Um, uh, just before I go, um, is there anything that I can do to help your guards? Anything? Because I know that in court, I noticed that, you asked for more men, and um, I know war is a difficult time.
That was a different Ryan that asked for more men.
Oh, okay, never mind. I didn't say, Henry doesn't say that because he would have known.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, um, okay, then what's Henry's leading gonna be? Okay, it's just a different flavor of that. He's gonna say, um, I know you have good men under you, and as you mentioned, they're doing everything they can, but um, is there anything that I can do to help support you guys? Or um, do you have everything you need?
He kind of puts his hand on that order form, is just like messing with it, and says, I don't know if you would have the resources for the direct help my men need, but any help you could provide out in the streets to the people of the city would be help to me.
Okay, I will do that. All right. Henry's not gonna push his luck anymore. I think he's gonna give the proper thanks and goodbyes and head out.
All right.
Um,
And from there to the tavern
mhm.
to
Yep.
meet with Kurt.
Yep. Okay. Yep, he just goes straight there. And he is singing on his way.
Okay. Um, do me a favor, just roll a d20 and tell me the number.
Ooh.
The 6.
Oh, darn. As you approach the tavern, you do hear, not as lively as it was the night that you were, or I guess it was last night, because that's how time frames work. Not quite as lively as you heard it, last night, but you do hear the beating of a drum, and some singing, as you enter. And there's a pretty small lunch crowd, honestly. This tavern is kind of on the north side of the market district, but it's not like hugely fancy as some of the other ones in this area are. And so there's a few people there, but not too many. And you see Kurt up at the front of the tap room as he was the last night. Once again, standing on one bar stool with another next to him with his little, it'd be a hand drum for you, but for him, it's pretty big. kind of propped up, and he is playing the drum with one foot while he sings along with it. Um,
Are you
and
gonna describe him for the group?
I will give a
I was
description.
just thinking, I was like, how small is he?
He is pretty small. He is small as far as creature size is concerned, and the small end of small at just over 3 feet tall. Um, he there for the sake of everybody else. There is a Harangon man standing on this stool. Let me get my thing real quick. Okay, I didn't actually write down all of the shit. About 3 feet tall, mostly gray fur, but white around his mouth, and the insides of his ears are also white. Little white tail that comes out from his clothes, by design. He is wearing a brightly dyed yellow shirt and some kind of foresty green pants, not quite store guard green, but green pants. Very simple looking. However, if you look closely, his brightly dyed yellow shirt has some embroidery on it that just looks kind of. It's hard to tell if it looks like vines or like ropes, like cords, um, embroidered on the front of the shirt. He doesn't wear any sigil of any kind, but he's a bard. That's not uncommon. Um, and he's just singing a happy little drinking song as Henry comes in.
Uh, I think Henry kind of gives him like a little wave and a smile as he comes in, and then goes to the bar and orders some lunch.
Okay. Um, he continues singing for a little while, sings a couple more songs. A couple people give him a little tip on their way out, and then the tap room basically empties out like at 12:30.
Okay.
Like it's just not all that busy right now, especially compared to when you came in last night where it was bumping.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, things die down. There's still a couple people in there, but they don't seem upset when Kurt hops down and kind of disassembles his little setup and heads over to you and says, "Oi, Henry."
Uh, Good afternoon. Good afternoon, friend. How are you?
Well, I've just been waiting around. Not much to do this morning.
Uh, well, sounds leisurely. Are you up for some walking? Or is there anything that you wanted to do before we head off?
Me dad always told me walk when you can.
All right, well, um, is there any particular part of the city that you want to see or that you're not interested in seeing? And Henry kind of goes through like the main areas and like talks through the main areas of the city.
Um, he's not super interested in like the work in town. He's more interested in kind of the sights and so like the keep itself. Obviously, like, just to like go the keep itself. He is kind of interested to see the guard, the little fort in the middle of the city.
Mhm.
And then he also would like a little bit of a tour of the market district itself.
All right. So, um, Henry takes him to all those places. Kind of talks through everything that he knows about the city as they're going. Um, he doesn't say anything that's a secret or anything that would be like interior workings of the keep, but things that like generally people would know in the city.
Hmm. For instance, he
Um,
can't enter the keep.
yeah.
Okay. Um, you're just gonna show him around.
Mhm.
Okay. Uh, excuse me. Give me a perception check as you're traveling.
The 9.
All right. Um, you are caught up in your helpingness.
Um, think as they're just walking and if there isn't anything to say, I think Henry is going to be kind of singing under his breath a little bit.
Um, uh, usually when Henry, basically every time Henry starts singing as they're walking, uh, Kurt joins in a little harmony.
Mm.
Um, his just to say it, his singing voice is relatively high pitched, not crazy, but he's little and his vocal cords are short and therefore high pitched. Um,
I love that you have reasoning for this.
I bet that sounds great because Henry's voice is very, very deep, like almost as deep as you can get. Uh, uh, and then I think Henry also asked, at some point, you mentioned you had friends coming into town. Are they coming today?
no, it should still be a couple of days. I kind of wanted to get situated before they came in. Didn't mean to make him Irish. He's not Irish.
Um,
He's not Irish. He has a voice and it's not Irish.
what was it? What did you say his voice was a mixture of?
um, I'm trying to remember. Um, part of it is the swineherd in Kingkiller Chronicles. Um, uh, the other bit was more of it. I'm going back to try and remember.
I remember reading it in our chat and thinking, "Oh, this sounds like I imagine it like this," but I don't remember what I said.
I don't remember what it was. It was a mix of two people, and I only remember one of them.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Um,
I guess it is a little Irish. Just not quite as Irish as I made him sound a second ago.
man, Henry wants to be nosy. Um, and then I think Henry asks how he started traveling.
Oh well, I've been playing since before I could walk or talk, uh, but I really started getting out and about 9 years ago. I just can't make it not Irish. I can't do it. Um, but yeah, about 9 years ago, I started traveling, and then every once in a while a job will come along, and sometimes you help out somebody, and sometimes you just sing for your meals.
Yeah, I know about that life. I traveled some myself these past. I traveled for about 5 years before coming here. Um, all right. I can't think of anything else to ask him right now.
Okay.
Uh, is there anything that he takes particular interest in the tour?
Give me an insight check.
A 12.
I mean, he specifically asks for the places that you take him to for the most part. And then he does ask like if there's anything else that you think he should see.
Um, Henry definitely shows him a few of the like interesting touristy places. Um, if there's anything music centric that Henry thinks that Kurt would enjoy, he would take him there.
In the market district there are a couple of instrument craft along those lines. There's a few places that are like for upkeep, and there's a store or two. None of them are overly famous, but there's a couple places that actually make instruments. None of them are like, oh, my mind went entirely blank. They're not like the name brand instruments, but like there are places.
All right. Well, I guess after that, he walks Kurt back to the tavern.
All right. Heartfelt goodbye, and he invites you to. He says he'll likely be at that tavern or nearby for the next few days at least. And anytime you want to come by, he'd love to see you.
All right. I think Henry says, "Yeah, I'll come enjoy. It's last night was really fun. So you'll see me around."
And just to be clear, there's lots of anecdotes that he gives about what his dad always used to say.
Hmm. All right, cool. Well, then Henry goes back to the keep.
Alrighty. How long are Call and Ren planning to hang out and about on watching light hand duty?
I don't think for terribly long. Probably 2 hours. Long enough to get like a good scope of what the actions are in the area and who's looking around. But since that's pretty much the aim of the game, spending too much time in that area would look suspicious if they're not doing something else. Or more suspicious.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, so probably they'll head back on the sooner end of things. And that would give them time to go to Ren's room and discuss who they want to talk, or like see if they want to talk to anyone next. Actually, I think Zerka's probably busy at this hour, isn't she? It's like
Usually.
early afternoon.
Yeah.
So then go back to Ren's room.
I will say, Henry's tour that he gives, it takes a couple hours just walk time to cover all of the market district and go up to the keep. It takes a couple hours, so Henry probably isn't coming back till after 2.
Understood.
After 2.
Okay.
Alrighty. So I think Call is going to just kind of assume that they can go back to Ren's room unless Ren says otherwise.
Ren is also assuming that, so I think we're fine.
Okay. I think Call is going to once again seek out Pier and probably start griping that Zerka did not give them any kind of warning about how to approach the Lord Commander.
Ren listens very supportively.
Yeah, Call is Call is just not happy about it. Call's a little pissed.
Nah, like, it's honestly understandable.
I think that Call is going to. I think Call is going to eventually concede that they probably should go to Zerka and ask for advice, but they very distinctly do not want to do that. And they're gonna gripe about that for a little bit as well.
Ren supports the decision and tries not to make Call feel like they've failed in any way because, like, honestly, they didn't. Like, yeah, it was just kind of like underprepared talking to Ryan. So, yeah. So, when do we want to talk to Circa?
She's usually busy during the day. I probably won't have a chance to talk to her until later into the evening, so I can talk to her just before I turn in today. What we should probably assess right now is if I'm not going to talk. If I'm making little progress with my Lord Commander, who else should we turn to, or who else should I turn to next?
Well, let's see, Jenny is going to reference the list of people.
Because Jenny is a smarticle.
I am. Let's see. Okay. So we have the Lord's Commander, Farid Kintar, Sir Havish Laurel, the Lady O'Corrent, Carda, and Captain Garen Rhine. Ren knows who Carda and Captain Garen Rhine are, and has no idea who Farid Kintar, Sir Havish Laurel, or the Lady O'Corrent are. So I think first step would be figuring out who they are and where they usually hang out.
Didn't we get some of that information from Zerka, which I did not write down because I am Boo Boo the Fool?
It's okay, I didn't write it down either.
I think I wrote it down. Let me see.
Bless you, Asher.
Control F, please work. Ben, how do you spell Farid?
Farid.
Farid. There we go. Okay, Zerka said, Carta does not leave her rooms often. It is not impossible to get a meeting with her. But it would have to be in her rooms. Master Kintar is known to frequent very expensive taverns and spend almost nothing. Sir Havish is usually somewhere swinging a sword, and the Lady O'Corin is usually at less fancy taverns spending a lot. I'll put that in the chat.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Those are some fun names.
I think interesting. Okay. So I think Call feels like they'll have the best chance with either Sir Havish or the Lady O'Corin. Because if she's at less fancy taverns spending a lot, it's likely that she is there to be social and there to have discussions, whether or not those are discussions of like any material value or whether she's um, making friends with strangers or lording over them.
Very
Um,
nice.
and Sir Havish swinging a sword. Call has been trying to get um, more sparring time in, so uh, might be able to get an in with Sir Havish by having some kind of spar.
That sounds good. Ren also wants to know like how these people are like in the council. Like, what is their position exactly? Like, what did they do?
Uh,
Um,
so y'all would know that these aren't, as I told Ash a couple days ago, these aren't like secret people. This isn't a secret council. This is like an existing thing. You would
okay,
know that Farrah Kintar is the steward. Sir Havish Laurel is the sentinel, and the Lady O'Corrent is the chancellor.
perfect. Okay. All right.
I don't know what any of those words mean, but good on you for doing your research.
Uh,
How do you spell sentinel?
Senechal. Um, so a steward is kind of the money guy. Chancellor is kind of laws and the making of them, kind of. Um, Also, the chancellor is usually the one who deals with foreign affairs. And then the sentinel would be the more militaristic foreign affairs, as well as typically the one who would be left in charge of the defense of the city should the Lord leave.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I think. Thank you, Asher. Ow. Okay. I think Call feels more confident in the Lady O'Corrent or Sir Havish. Call is most interested in talking to Carta and Sir Havish. And I think Call's gonna end up asking Ren what his opinion is on whether Carta is an avenue worth pursuing or whether Carta is a dangerous avenue to pursue.
For now, Ren thinks it might be dangerous just because, like Call pointed out earlier, um, they had a run-in with one of Carta's people. And we don't know what her opinions are. We have no like starting point to guess like what her stance is on any of this. So we don't know how to approach her. Um,
I mean, we barely know how to approach anybody.
yeah. Um, that's the tricky part with these ones. Um, I feel like as for the Lady O'Corrent, I feel like Henry might be good to have with us when we talk to her. Um, just by virtue of it being, if we're going to talk to her in a less expensive tavern environment, and it's very social and boisterous, I think Henry would serve us well there. And I think you're right about Sir Havish. You would definitely have the most, you or Henry really would have the most chance of getting to talk to him. Farid Kintar. I don't know. We need to figure out under what is our reason for like beginning to talk to these people, because otherwise we're just approaching them out of the blue.
It's fair. And it's such a time-sensitive ask. We can't just kind of build our way up to it.
Exactly. What we do have is that the three of us are a team that Ander has specifically given orders to. We've done several tasks specifically for him. He has assigned us to commanding officers. We have been doing work specifically for the Count. And that's all we have to work with as a starting point with these people.
Well, this isn't entirely in Sir Havish's purview, but maybe Bronwyn has all these half-remembered things from sessions past that she cannot articulate. So, I am a very clever bean, guys.
You're good.
Ben, I kind of am mad at you for giving me a project that I genuinely don't know how to address. Because I'm sitting here like, I don't fucking know what to do about that. How does anyone convince anyone to join a coup?
Welcome to my life for the past, 3 months.
That is a choice, Asher!
It is not a choice when Henry is banging on the inside of my head saying, when are we going to start a coup? Hey, we need to start a coup. Hey, come on. No one's doing anything about this. We have to do something. We have to do the right thing. And I'm like, I am a player that wants to have fun in a game. Why are you saying we need to commit treason? So
I totally understand that, though.
I refuse to understand or acknowledge that. I'm gonna blame Asher fully.
It's not Asher, it's Henry talking. So
no.
Yeah.
I'm not giving either of you this much leeway.
Oh my god. Okay.
I'm here to be a dick.
You are a joy and a bright spot in this universe.
It's true.
Let's see. So Ren is a lot better spoken than Jenny is, and Jenny's going to kind of ramble for a minute and try and figure out Ren's thoughts and what he's trying to say. So with the city kind of emptying out, with the excursion into the hills to fight the dragons and kobolds, let's see, it's going to be mostly just the city guard left in the city, right? Like the cores are the ones going?
The city guard would certainly be the largest standing militarized group within the city after the... Because not all 3 cores are going, but the majority of all 3 cores are going. So
exactly,
even added together, there will be less members of the 3 cores than there are guards in the city.
Which would make things interesting for the seneschal. So, right, because he's kind of like in charge of military things, especially like with moving pieces, I guess.
So technically the Sentinel would be like he would be in charge of the defense of the city, but so he would be kind of a step above. In the event of an attack on the city, he technically has say over all forms of military within the city. So he would have like he could command the members of the three corps. He could command um, the guards, but also like all of those have their own commanders. So it's kind of like he would do the organization of the defense, but he doesn't 100% outrank any of the commanders of those forces.
Gotcha. Okay. But he
Okay.
does probably work closely with Lord Commander Ryan and stuff.
He would, yeah. I mean, all of these people work closely with each other because they are on the same council.
That might be a way to get into Lord Commander Ryan then. Like if we can talk to Sir Havish, maybe that we can, I don't know, get some kind of foothold in there. Since they're kind of in the same realm. But as for where to start, less fancy taverns and expensive taverns. There are a lot of different taverns in this city, and it would be very, very difficult to try and narrow that down just by like popping by and trying to see if we see anyone that we're supposed to be talking to just randomly. So is it possible that the dozen would have any idea what these people's kind of habits are? Like if they've seen anything, since they kind of keep watch regularly?
Possibly. Jax would have as much of an idea as anybody, but I'm not sure I'd put stock in it. I can definitely ask him tonight though.
Okay.
I think yeah, I think those are the ways to go. So you think Henry should be with us when we approach the Lady of Corinth? I should approach Sir Havish and figure out some way to discuss this with him. Another
Which
thing
means
we should...
Oh, that just to make it fair, that means that I would have to look into talking to Farid Kintar. So that'll be another point of things. But yes,
That's if we expect that one of us is we're all going to go alone to the different things, and you don't go to, you don't go visit the Lady of Corinth with Henry. One thing worth considering is that we need to make sure that our overall messaging is the same, because these are people who know each other, these are people who work together, and if we're going to convince more than one of them to go about this, they're going to speak with each other, so we need to make sure that whatever we're saying is consistent.
I agree.
But that gets us right back to what the hell are we saying?
I feel that I have a direction with Master Barnabas. And I'm not sure that it would be one that he has in common with many people. Since he might be the only person in the city who knew the first Count's door.
I mean, I think that's an entirely fair direction to go, because it is a different situation. And honestly, I think you would be foolish not to discuss what is honest and obvious. The real question is just what we do with everything else. No, well, I guess it's less what do we do, it's less what do we say and more what do we say that will not get us arrested if things go poorly.
That's the fun part.
Mm-hmm. Arrested, executed, something like that. At what
Yeah.
point do we just have to kind of take a gamble?
Master Barnabas has been very good to me, and when I am speaking foolishly, early on I did voice some vague dissent, and he did not report me and have me executed. He warned me to be careful. So I feel like I have a little bit more security talking with him about tense subjects like this. But the same cannot be said for anyone else that we're talking to.
What if if you feel so positive about Master Barnabas, do you think it would be worth waiting to speak to the others until we get his potential approval and advice on the other members of the council?
If that's possible, I think it would be extremely helpful.
He'd have an understanding of them that we definitely do not.
I'll see what I can do on that front. And
would it be possible, since we're on a timeline, to see how much you can gauge on that front tomorrow? If you're able to do that, whether or not you feel confident in pushing further, that would give me a better understanding before I approach someone like Sir Havish.
I could do that.
Okay. I know I'm asking a lot of you right now.
No, this is what we have to do, and we are on a time limit. And it would have been a lot easier if we could get into these people's good graces more gradually, but we just have to move fast with what we have, and so this is what we have.
True. Okay. I can keep working on... I can lay the groundwork, I think, tomorrow morning or even this evening to look into Sir Havish. That way, if I can hold off on actually approaching him until after I hear back from you tomorrow, but at least that way I'll potentially know where he is, speak to someone who knows him, figure out a better way to approach him, and I can do that kind of groundwork before before you talk to Barnabas again. So at least that way everything isn't dependent on you having success. Okay?
Yes. I'm a bit worried because everyone in the keep knows that the three of us work together. If any one of us is particularly unsuccessful in any of these conversations, then it could endanger all three of us. And it just strikes me as a little ironic with all the conversations we've had with Henry before.
I agree. It does feel ironic. And I don't feel particularly safe or assured doing this, but I suppose it's this or do nothing.
Well, I don't like doing nothing, so I think we have a good direction and that we should move with it.
Okay.
I'll talk to Master Barnabas again tomorrow, and I will let you know how that goes.
Thank you. Okay. I think if Ren does not need to talk to Call anymore, Call's probably going to take their leave and start looking for sparring partners to see for both actual sparring and to start garnering gathering information about Sir Havish.
So, are you like trying to find, like, if you were to see him training, would you try to train with him, or are you trying to get adjacent people?
I think adjacent people today.
Okay. Um.
Let Sir Havish just see Call in the area.
Okay. Give me a perception check first.
Okay. That's a 12.
Oof. It was a low DC though. So you are able to find, like, you're able to spot Sir Havish, uh, and he is currently wearing full plate, and he is simultaneously fighting two other sword wielders at the same time. Um, it looks very train-y though. Like, it doesn't look like they're trying to land heavy blows on each other. Um, so that being said, it's pretty easy to get, find someone to train with in the area that, like, he could very potentially see you. So in that case, take your pick as far as what you want to be doing to, like, how you're wanting to train. You can either roll an acrobatics check or an athletics check to see how you do, but just know that, like, if you're using acrobatics, that's the way you're fighting. So if that is anything.
Well, if Sir Havish is primarily a sword user, I think Call's going to seek out someone with a sword to try and learn to fight against. So I assume that would be athletics and not acrobatics.
It would be, yes.
Okay. So I will go ahead and roll athletics and see how that goes. Which is a radically different thing that landed tilted. Radically different thing from, oh, I should have taken the tilted one. Call gets their ass kicked. Does that go for the whole time, or does that go for one fight?
That goes for how things, how things go the whole time.
Okay.
But like I said, Sir Havish's training seemed instructional. So who knows?
Okay.
Maybe doing really shitty is exactly what he's looking for. You don't know. Anyway.
That's the problem. We don't.
So yes, and then did Ren have anything to do right now?
Not at the moment, I don't think.
Okay. Well, I've got a little bit of side stuff with my wife that I just need to type out real quick. Damn me and needing to reward nat 20s.
Yeah, I pinged him and I was like, oh, on the way back, can Henry do this? And he's like, yeah, just, roll a luck check. And it was a nat 20.
Jesus.
He was walking by Hart House. Not doing anything, just walking slowly by Hart House to see if anything happened. And nat 20.
Like, I want to reward it, but there's things happening, so I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna just say it out loud rather than type it.
Okay.
With a nat 20, you are able to glean that they are not at home. I don't know how you're able to do that, but nat 20s be nat 20ing. Okay. So, do we have anything else that anybody wants to do today?
Henry needs to do sending, but that's...
Are you... Because you skipped the previous night, when do you do the sending? Because technically you've been able to do it since, like 10 p.m. last night.
Henry doesn't want to do it when he thinks Bennett will be busy. Based off of the time that he spent with Bennett, would the afternoon be like a bad time? Should he wait till nighttime?
You can roll a history check. We'll do that.
Okay. An 11.
You're not sure.
Why did I not roll with my Bennett dice? That was dumb. I think Henry's gonna wait until the time that they've been doing sending.
Okay.
He's gonna wait until then.
So he's gonna pretend that he just had to send to someone else. I'm just poking fun.
Oh, fuck you, motherfucker.
I'm sorry, it was just a joke.
Oh, look at the
He
boy.
was meowing at me this whole time, being like, "Oh my god, you're not paying attention to me." And then the moment I tried to scoop him up, he tried to walk away. Motherfucker, pick a direction.
Give me all of the attention. Don't touch me.
No, I think what it is that he wants to lead me somewhere else in the apartment, and I refuse to leave my desk. He's like, "Why are we here? Let's go somewhere else."
There's better places to be.
I mean, I agree, but
Okay, so anyone else things to do today? Even just errands or just things that you want to mention that you're going to do, not roleplay things.
if Carl still has... Go ahead, Ren.
No, you first.
God damn it.
Your spouse is too nice.
It's disgusting.
Disgusting.
Be meaner, Jenny.
I'm the worst.
So nasty you decided to marry him.
Worst person I know. Actually, because I think it's funny, I'm gonna. Oh no, Call did not recover in time to ask Pim to do any like dagger stuff or anything. So Call barely remembers. Actually, just Call's not doing great. Call does not remember to ask Jax
Oh, no.
about the Lady of Corinth tonight. Hopefully they will remember in the morning. Call it was a very low DC. Call did not beat it.
I yeah, as for Ren's thing, I was silly and I forgot to mention this a little bit earlier. So while Call is busy sparring, Ren actually wants to go to the barracks and talk to Jax.
Okay.
Oh.
Do you want to
Sneaky.
roleplay this, or do you want to just tell me what's going on?
I'm curious about role playing this.
Okay. Fucking get hyped.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so Ren feels a little bit awkward letting himself, or like, I don't know, going there by himself. I guess, he knocks and stuff because he's not just gonna let himself in.
Okay. There's no answer for a little bit. Would Ren knock again?
Yes.
Okay. At the second knock, you hear scuffling around behind the door, and then finally, Jax actually is the one who opens the door. He's standing straighter than you've seen him in the past couple days. Doesn't look to be in as much pain, but he has a serious case of bedhead. And go ahead and throw an insight check, actually.
Okay. 5.
Yep.
Unfortunate.
That's a number. Yep. All right. So yeah, you don't really pick up on anything. But
Okay.
you are standing in the doorway that he just opened.
Cool. Yeah, Ren is going to. He probably looks a little bit alarmed to see Jax up, and feels kind of bad for making Jax let him in, and kind of yeah, he's gonna say, "Hi, I know we haven't talked much. Can we talk?"
Do I have no, we're gonna use this one because I haven't used it for other things yet, and I like it.
Show us. Show us.
Oh, it's chess.
Oh.
My black and white metal die. He kind of just stands there with a little bit of a stupid look on his face for a second, and then just goes, sure, yeah, okay, and just like backs up a little bit to give you room to come into the barracks.
Okay. Ren probably like kind of heads towards the bed he knows is Jax's, so like Jax can like sit down again because he's injured, and Ren might pull up a chair or something.
Okay. That happens.
Okay.
Jax does like sit down on his own bed.
Okay. Are the two of them the only ones present?
Yes. There is
Cool.
no one else in the barracks at the time.
Okay. First off, Ren's gonna try and not be rude, and he's gonna ask Jax how he's feeling.
Yeah, I'm okay. I can sing without screaming, so that's good.
That is good. Glad to hear it. Again, I know we haven't talked much, but I believe that you are better schooled in an area of magic that I don't know much about, and I was very curious if you could give me some insights.
Um, his eyebrow shoots up, and he kind of just like looks at you for a little bit and is like, "Yeah, okay. How can I help?"
So like, oh my god, I'm so mad that that insight check wasn't better.
I feel
Okay,
like
yeah.
Jax just woke up from a nap or something.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Ren's gonna kind of just being very like patient and polite and stuff. I can come back later if now's not a good time.
No, it now is good a time as any. Um,
Okay.
yeah. What? I mean, aren't you in the Mage Corps?
Yes. Yes, I am. That's kind of the problem. Um, so the thing about the Mage Corps is that none of us are very good healers.
Okay. Yeah.
And I don't believe that I am well suited to any kind of more religious studies. I don't know if the clerics would like me very much.
He laughs hard and then winces a little bit.
um, uh, so yeah, Ren's gonna kind of continue. I am not sure that I have the aptitude for more druidic studies. Um, and unfortunately, neither of my teachers are very good healers either, according to what I know. And so I was wondering if you knew anything that could help me with that. Just anything, any way that I can use magic that isn't.
Um, well, I mean, I guess, I mean, I do know a little bit of healing. He kind of gestures to his own side. He's like, I mean, I'm not quite, you know, the best at it.
Ren laughs at that.
uh, but I mean, I know a few things. But they're not, they're not really spells in the same way you do them.
I
Uh,
think that's what I need. My source of magic is not amenable to certain things that I need to be looking into. So anything that you could teach me, like a different angle, just where does it come from for you?
uh, well, most of what I do comes from music. And this is where I don't fully understand. Ben does not fully understand how bardic magic fully works, so I'm not going to be able to like explain that. Like, you know, it's the magic of music, but also it's much more finer points than that. So yeah, he's gonna do kind of a bumbling attempt at explaining it. Um, a whole lot of, you know, it just like feels this way. Um,
Ren listens very seriously.
uh, Along with that, he is going to point out that there is like he has put some study into actual spells and the like that that is just like kind of powered from this music basis. So he can still like show you kind of like the verbal and somatic components to these spells, but also technically, as of right now, you don't have a way to cast them because you like
Haven't learned it.
and
Yeah, Ren's
because
just
the
happy
rules
learning
of
theory right now.
yeah. So he does his best. And after a little bit, he kind of gives up trying to explain verbally and brings out his lute and tries to play a little bit. And honestly, it starts making more sense at that point. Less because he's like doing a better job explaining it, but kind of because as he starts playing, the magic involved kind of helps explain itself. Um,
Nice. Okay. And now they're friends, right?
roll a persuasion check.
Oh, really? Okay. I am dead serious when I say that's a nat 20.
Uh,
Yeah. They're friends now.
I mean, I was fully planning on being like, I mean, yeah, he gets along with you, but like he's a charismatic guy who gets along with lots of people. Um, but I mean, yeah, that's a nat 20. I think that Jax really finds how intently you focus on his attempts at explanation. I think he finds that really endearing. Um, and I don't like Jax is used to people paying attention to him. Like that's kind of what he does. Is he's a bard. He pulls people's attention to him. But just like kind of the way that you kind of bated breath listen to what he says, um, and you're not really doing it in the way he's used to. Um, Jax is a handsome man, just pointing that out. Um, uh, like you are fully listening to what he's saying and what he's trying to explain. You're not just staring at him. Uh, so I, I think he really, really enjoys that. And I mean, you're not the best friends that have ever friended because this is kind
Yes,
of
we
your
are, don't
first.
lie.
This is your first conversation alone. But there is certainly a lot of progress made there.
Nice. Okay.
I'm so proud of you.
Shout out to the Nat 20 friendship roll.
I am so fucking excited about that. Okay. Yeah, I think Ren also wants to check on Truffle while he's there.
You go to check on Truffle under Call's bed. Truffle is not there. And
Ren panics.
Jax will guiltily pull out a little bundle from kind of behind his pillow. And he's like, he just like looks, he very, very dark skin, but somehow you can still tell that he's blushing. He's like,
Ren just grins so wide. Just huge grin.
Also, in the bundle, there are small scraps of food that Truffle has very clearly been eating on. And you know that Call has been like attempting to give Truffle more exercise because Truffle's getting a little chunky. He's a little chunky bunny. And you pick up that it might be because Jax cuddles with Truffle and feeds him like all day.
Ren is not going to try and amend this behavior. He's just gonna laugh and pet Truffle some more and look at Jax's lute and kind of tries to, be chill about it. Do you think you could teach me how to play one?
Give me an insight check, because Jax has a look on his face.
Okay. That's a 14.
Yeah, this is gonna be contested. We're gonna have to contest this real
Okay.
quick. Give me just a second. Gotta get Jax's sheet open. Jax, by the way, 10th character I made in D&D Beyond. 10th of I think 38. Bu-bu-bum.
Yeah, and Ren is proficient in an instrument, so he like probably understood a bit of the discussion. What's up, Ben? What's up?
Nothing. He just rolled a nat 20.
Okay. Fair.
Just rolled a nat 20 in a skill that he has expertise. So yeah, you're not able to really you don't catch on to what his expression says, but he is going to say he's going to say I mean, yeah, I can show you a couple things. And then goes through some rather elaborate fingerings on the frets. And then gives you a little bit of a coy look.
Okay. Ren is paying attention. So he's happy to learn.
Okay. So he's going to hand the loot to you. Give me.
Okay.
I think I'm going to call it sleight of hand. Give me a sleight of hand check.
Sleight of hand. Okay. Pulling up Ren's sheet. Godspeed, my boy. That is another nat 20. Bronwyn, we need to sit next to each other so we can like. No, seriously, Bronwyn, we need to sit next to each other so we can like validate each other's rolls, okay?
What the fuck?
This is the die you got me. This is your fault.
I give good presents.
You do.
You give weighted dice.
You get weighted dice.
Well, so his little coy look kind of goes away as you exactly replicate all of the fingerings that he did. And then, like, you see, he looks a little like there's like a realization on his face, and then he goes into more teacher-like teaching. So it's not like does something really fast and is like, try that. It's more of a like, okay, well, this is this, and he it doesn't take him long to learn that you play an instrument unless you're going to try and hide them from him.
No, he's not going to try and hide it. He's not going to go into it, but he's not going to hide it either. And I genuinely think that like a part of Ren lights up whenever they get to talk about this. So like he's having a good time.
Okay. So it doesn't take him long to realize that you have played an instrument before. And then so he would ask you what you play, and then he is going to like kind of describe the similarities between the two instruments and some of the differences, and go full on into actually trying to teach you, because he may have heard the line of can you teach me how to play your lute a couple times.
Oh my goodness.
But
no, Ren was just dead ass sincere.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also Ren did not pick up on that.
Oh no,
okay,
he did not.
I love that that's the thing.
But yeah, it goes really, really well. Not quite write it on your character sheet yet, but it goes really, really well.
Awesome. Okay, and Ren is going to realize that he's kind of just been asking for all of this for free, so he's also going to ask Jax, do you have a favorite pastry? Just out of the blue, just no change of
He's
expression.
Like showing a fingering on the lute and goes, I like anything that has chocolate in it.
Good man. Okay. Yeah, eventually I think Ren's gonna be like, well, I've taken, enough time of and I've taken up enough of your time, etc. And he'll excuse himself, but make a note to bring Jax breakfast later because that's what friends do.
All right.
Okay.
Um,
I've been looking forward to that.
I think this is actually a good place to stop for tonight. I have been yawning all session, and I am tired. Um, that being said, we can do sending real quick because nobody else has anything they wanted to do today, right?
Does Ren leave before Call gets back?
Yes.
Okay. That's it.
Uh-oh.
I don't know. Y'all are both training shit, and Call got their ass kicked, so they might have left early. Call, give me a Constitution saving throw. Ren, roll. Oh man, I don't even know what. Ren, just roll a d20 and tell me the number.
Okay.
Call got a 19.
Ren got a 3.
Well, because Call rolled so well, that means that they would have been able to stick it out in their training.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess one last question would be: is Ren trying to get out before Call comes back?
Yes.
Huh.
These two roles kind of contest each other.
Yeah, because like a 19 is good, and a 3 is really bad.
I also think as the longer the music lesson went on, the more Ren kind of like just occasionally glances toward the door. Like,
Okay,
probably took his seat facing the door.
If Ren is getting anxious about it, we'll say that Ren does leave before Call gets back.
Okay.
That being said, so Henry also goes to the barracks briefly?
No, never mind.
No? Okay.
I've been wanting to go to the barracks and have Henry talk to Andarion for a little bit, but now it doesn't feel like the right time.
Okay. Well, I'm also dropping frames left and right, and I don't know how to fix that. I don't have anything to close. I mean, I guess we don't need that right now. Or, well, yes, I do. So I'm gonna get your sending reply in just a second. Um, Here we go. Sorry.
How dare you?
While he's doing that, look at my earrings. They're D4s.
They're gorgeous.
I love those.
Thanks. They have gold leaf because I'm addicted to gold leaf, and they have little flowers.
Good.
That's really cute. Meanwhile, I don't know if we'll be able to see it at all, but I've been drawing.
I love it.
Thank you.
Oh my
Very
god.
pretty.
It will be a drawing of a very uncomfortable looking regent at her coronation. And I don't know if you can see behind, but there are like spires and stuff behind her. I'm visioning like space regent, some kind of on another planet monarch.
Oh, I
Love
enjoy
that.
this.
Love that a lot.
That's awesome.
That's very, very cool.
That's what I've been drawing. Oh, Jesus. If I don't break my iPad while I do it.
Alright, is that all?
I think that's it.
I believe that is it.
Cool.
I think Ren doesn't say it in so many words, but I think he absolutely gives Jax a call doesn't need to know that I came in asking for music lessons look. Doesn't say it though.
Let's see how the boy does. He seems to pick up on it.
Okay.
Excuse me. Yeah, so same time next week.
Let's assume same time next week, but we will have just the day before gotten back from Arkansas. So
Would you rather shoot for next Friday?
let's shoot for same time next week. I like doing Thursdays, but I'm just saying that we can push, like, let's say, like, Thursday with the realization that we might have to push it to Friday if Jenny and I are dead on our feet.
Absolutely. All right. Well, it's been great. Thanks everybody for